Hello everybody and welcome back to Europa, where we are currently wrapping up this siege here, and we've also got these guys headed down over this way to take back some of this territory, but we kind of need to make our way up and deal with these separatists, to be honest. So we're going to head on up over there, and this siege will continue, and we'll need to figure out just how much of Zaclumia we actually want to take. That's going to depend a lot on France. I don't think Portugal is that big of an issue. It's going to depend entirely on how much aggressive expansion France gets from this. So that's noted. Of course, the main issue is the fact that the HRE currently has 65 aggressive expansion. That is pretty significant. I'm not going to lie. So we could grab an admin tech at this point. I'm going to wait for 2 years to do that though. We don't need this right now. So we'll just chill. That seems good. We are going to need admin power for coring, so that is absolutely fine for this moment. We can choose an idea group. This would be our last idea group, and what would we be interested in? I'm immediately thinking about a military idea. Maybe aristocratic to increase our cavalry combat ability even better. This would also give us manpower modifier, which would be potentially useful if we get into a big war, which might happen. That is a distinct possibility. So I'm actually leaning towards aristocratic ideas. So let's grab that, but I'm not going to immediately take anything out of this. We are very ahead of time in our military tech, actually. Never mind. We're going to immediately grab this 15% cavalry combat ability. That will be good. So we'll take that for now. We're not going to grab any humanist or trade ideas because we need to grab our next technology. So that seems fine. Wow, the French actually handled this for us. That's nice of them. Okay. I mean, we were there anyway, so it doesn't really matter all that much. But we've got these forts coming back, and that seems good. Officers are deserting. I mean, sure. We just won the Siege of Canum, which is this down over here. So these guys can group back together, and we're going to move them back up over this direction. Okay, so this is currently 60 units here. Are we recruiting here? We're lacking in the flying batteries, is the issue. We'll wait till after this war, though. We're pretty negative financially, and we definitely need to chill a little bit. So that seems fine. We can buy an ability, and what are we interested in? Artillery levels available versus fort? Yes, that seems great. We'd love to have more siege power. Officers are deserting again. Very rude of them. And we need to head out over here because this fort is going to take these. So that sounds good. These guys, I'm just going to move them down to Siena for the moment. And are all of our forts active? No. I don't think we need any forts active, although this is a thing. We should probably go deal with that. I'm going to send this army here for now. We'll just wrap back up over this way. I'm going to unmothball this fort, and we'll toss some money at getting this back. So that seems okay. Money is absolutely a very large concern at this moment. So we definitely need to deal with that. We got to get out of this war, and we got to get this overextension dealt with. So we're just waiting for this fort to finish. That siege is done. So that's very good. We're at 99% at this moment, and where is our transport fleet at right now? They're up here? Okay. We'll just wait till the war is over. So if we took everything that they hold, this would be their full annexation. This would be 41.9 aggressive expansion. How much of that goes to France, and how much of that goes to the HRE? The HRE gets 10. So that would be 5 years of the HRE being in the coalition against us. Okay. I do not see France in this list. So that's a good sign. This is risky to take it. Even without France in the list, this is going to be a lot of pain for the next little while. We're going to have to chill, and that chill might even take us to the end of the game. Keep in mind, that's only 18 years out. So that's a distinct possibility at this point. I think we take this, and this might be the last annexation that we do. We'll see. So now we need to chill. We need to get our forts disabled. So we need to mothball our forts. That's mission number 1. And we might need to cut army maintenance instead of drilling. We will see how this ends up playing out. Checking in here. Yeah, so we're going to need 1 additional land force limit, but that's not that big of a deal. So we're currently drilling here. I want these guys to attack here. That'll be on 21 August. That should be fine. And unmothball that fort. Okay. Now mothball the fort. We did unfortunately pay for it, but that's fine. We'll get this taken back, and that'll be absolutely A-okay. We're now net positive by 310, but that's due to spoils of war. We're going to be back to negative here. So let's get these guys moved back. Okay, separatists up over here. We'll just go crush them very, very swiftly. No problem there. We're going to need to core all of these. And that does, of course, mean that we're back a ways in our admin tech. That's understood. I'm not terribly concerned about that. So our corruption is going up due to overextension at this moment. Is our overextension affecting our income that much? Let's see. Trade power abroad, that's pretty significant. And of course, that sweet, sweet national unrest. So there is that. People are entering into military coalitions against us. We're not surprised. Oh, we have no leadership here. So we're going to have to roll up a general, and we'll get them drilling. But the question is, can we afford to drill all of our armies? I think for the moment that the answer is no. So I'm going to move our army maintenance down, and I'm going to root out corruption to here. That's not as much as we'd like to be at. That's for sure. But I'm going to stop drilling our armies for the time being. So these guys are marching up over this way. That's fine for the moment. These guys are currently drilling. We're going to have them stop. These guys are drilling. These guys are drilling. These are not drilling. These are drilling. Okay. So all of our armies are no longer drilling. Excellent. And we're going to be very, very positive financially now. So this is 82.7. Still not as high as I'd like it to be, but this will do for now. I'm going to cut our fleet maintenance as well, and we're going to root out corruption maximally. We're just trying to hard chill for a little bit here. We're going to need definitely some chill time. Sunni Zealots down over here. That is problematic. I was hoping to not have to deal with these immediately, but we can head on up over this way. And that means that we're going to have to turn our army maintenance back up on the way over to deal with them. So we're going to be running a pretty big deficit for a little bit here until we get this taken back. We gained an inflation, and we lost our treasurer at the same time. So we don't have any advisors here. That's understood. For the moment, I'm not going to replace them. We also just lost 50 diplomatic power. So that's absolutely understood. This battle will happen on 24 December. Let's wait until 2 January. There. So we're going to head on in over here. There we go. Okay. We're going to... This would be down over here. I'm going to defer this for a moment. We're going to take this back. There we go. Now we're going to walk down here and have a month tick. And then we're going to demand that the land be returned. I'm expecting that the noble regiments exist here. Yeah. There we go. So that's fine. This is on our way back. Perfect. No issue whatsoever there. So now we're going to move back down to Mecca, and we absolutely need to cut our land maintenance at this point. I'm going to cut it most of the way, but not quite all, because we're going to have to reinforce this, and so we're eventually going to get this reinforced. 181 troops per month is actually faster than I expected this to be. Oh, we just failed this estate agenda. I forgot about it. It's okay. We needed to put more effort into rooting that out anyway. It's fine. It's absolutely fine. So we're not going to have these guys drill, but we are reinforcing 181 troops per month. That is faster than I expected that to be. So that's good. We can convert a province, and I want to do that. So that looks good. The real question here, and yeah, there's a lot of liberty desire there. The real question here is, how are we doing on our coring, right? We really need to get these cores wrapping up. The good news is they're about to get wrapped up. So we're about to see a lot of these cores finish up. That's huge. We can seize land. I think this is a bad time. Yeah, this is a bad time. So we'll not do that for right now. Can we set an agenda at least? Yeah, that'll boost their loyalty by 5 across the board. And then the rabbis want us to take new territory. Okay, that's not going to happen. Build a dock or a dry dock in Bari. That we can probably do. So yeah, there's an empty building plot here. So let's go ahead and build a dock here. We can't quite afford to do a dry dock, although we'll be able to pretty soon. I'm just going to wait that out. So we did finish up a core, and that's huge. Dropping our overextension is a very big deal. We converted the Heretics of Canaan, which is also fantastic. 19.29 in Genoa. That is a ridiculous cost due to its development and autonomy. So it's probably more the autonomy than anything. It's at 90% right now. Yeah, it's a territorial core. So that's interesting. So yeah, that's a territorial as opposed to a colonial because of something. I don't know exactly what the reason is, but between why it goes between territorial and colonial core. But territorial core, 90%, it is what it is. So we're going to get a missionary going down here instead. That'll be better. Okay, these guys are taking attrition here, and we probably want to move them elsewhere. I think they were supposed to be down over here anyway, so let's go ahead and move them over. That looks good. Otherwise, I'm reasonably content with where our armies are located. Oh, okay, apparently the Stream Deck has an upgrade available. You'd think the Stream Deck would be clever enough to know when it's actively in use and not pop up a notification like that, but who knows? Who knows? So we are absolutely fine up over here. Ooh, 4 base production. That's nice. So that's absolutely great. At this point, we have enough to come to Bari and build that dry dock. So let's get that going. That'll be fine. We may replace it later, but we also may not. So there's a core finishing, and that is a huge deal. We're going to make this into a territory, which means that we can make Genoa into a full core, and Albenga, but Genoa is the more important location here, which means that its autonomy is now down to 50. Okay, so it's a colonial core because the state was made. Got it. It's a territorial core when the state is not made. And then when the state gets made, it switches to being a territorial core, and then, of course, it becomes a full core when we spend the admin power on it. Got it. So that answers that question. So we're down to 46.7% in Genoa. That's a big shift, but it needs to continue to come down, which it absolutely will do. So that looks good. There's another core finishing, which means that we can make a state up over here. And this is a level 8 fort, and kind of almost removes the need for this fort. I think I'm going to delete the fort here. I don't think we need both of these to be forted. And this is a slightly better fort for us because this controls all the way out to the coast. Of course, this controlled to the coast here, but, you know, it's fine. So I want to check in here. Our overextension is currently 110%. That's good. We need to get a full core here. And we're going to continue to work on this. We're going to have another 44% reduction in our overextension very shortly here. So that's great. 20% local autonomy in Rome is actually fine. That'll come down. Reputation sabotaged. Yep, that's normal. So that all sounds good for now. There's those 2 cores finishing. So these were the cores down over here in Greece. So we're going to get that made into a state. Those are now colonial cores instead of territorial cores. And, of course, we're going to want to full core them. So there we go. They're now going to drop their autonomy. I'm not sure what their actual autonomy is at this moment. 36.5. Okay. So that is a significant improvement. What's our income right now? 63.22 and 660. So that's ideal. I want to come over here and I want to get this army brought up to its full size. Although we don't have the cash to do that yet. So we're very close to having the cash. We can celebrate a festival here, which I'm going to do. And how are we doing on this land seizure? We're really close. The rabbis need only about 4 more months here. So that looks good. And I do want to bring this up to 40 cannon. There we go. So that looks good. We're just increasing our power on paper. And that is absolutely what we want to do. So we're up to 630 at this point. That's going to go up to, I think, 650, something like that. Okay, so we got the Merchant Guild loyalty. That's great. But I want to check in here. The rabbis are at 49.69. I'm contractually obligated to say nice about that, unfortunately. But the rabbis are now up over 50, and we can seize land. So we'll absolutely do that. Perfect. So we can invest in a dip tech at this point, and we absolutely should. We're behind time. So let's go ahead and do that. Yearly corruption is a big deal there, and as is the trade efficiency. So that looks great, and we need to get this admin tech up as well, but for the moment, I'm not terribly concerned about it. We do need to get these remaining cores finished up, and we know that this is going to be a fair amount of admin power. So we may want to think about recruiting somebody here. Ooh, production efficiency. He's only +2, and he's not an accepted culture, so we're not going to be able to promote him. But I'm still going to hire him for that sweet, sweet production efficiency. This guy's for trade efficiency, and he's a +2 as well. I think that's fine. I'm not terribly concerned about it. We can't promote him up either, but let's hire him as well. So that's going to boost our income some, but it might not pay for themselves. We'll see. Yeah, I don't think it pays for themselves. That's okay. For the time being, this is fine. We're at 11, 8, and 9. I'm content with that. So we're building up our admin power at this moment, and we're going to get these cores done. We're going to need to make them into full cores, of course. France is fighting the HRE. Why didn't you call us in on that, France? I'm surprised. I guess they noticed that we were very overextended and just didn't ask. I probably still would have done it, to be honest. But I think they got that under control. I mean, we're delighted about them attacking the HRE. And us not having to do anything about it, that's absolutely great. So let's confirm a new leader here, and we're not going to drill him. We will get back to drilling our armies, but we're just not in a position where we can afford to do so at this time. We can start to do it a bit piecemeal, though. And we are going to need a leader here as well, so let's go ahead and roll one. Although, I'm thinking we may be able to combine together one of these two armies. These are the only two remaining armies that are not at 80k stack. So if we look down over here, 61, 62, 63... Highest I've seen is 63. Yeah. So this is the best location to do that in. And then over here, 49 and 55. Okay, this is very, very low supply limit. So we're going to take some attrition here, I think. We'll see what it gets to. So I'm going to group these together under the 3-star leader. And that is 75. So if we build a supply depot, what's that going to put it at? 68. Definitely not ideal. I'm going to split this back in half, but I'm not going to put a leader back. We're just going to have it be like this. We're not drilling them anyway, right? So there's no point in having them there. And we'll just do something like this. So that looks good for now. No issue there. And yeah, we're definitely seeing the French. I think the French are winning that. Yeah, they distinctly look like they're winning that. This is a very large HRE army invading their south, though. So we'll see what happens with that. This is the army that we would usually be fighting if the French had asked us to join. But they didn't, and we are quite happy about that, actually. So we're going to have these cores finishing up in November. Sounds good. At the moment, I'm just saving up our admin power because we still need to get this technology. So that is still a very important thing, but we don't want to be having overextension. Ah, yes. The Golden Horde has sent us an insult because we are neither holy nor Roman nor an empire. Well, we're not the ones claiming to be the Holy Roman Empire, although we kind of are. There are two Holy Roman Empires at this point. But honestly, we have a better claim to being Roman than they do. So there's that. And maybe we have a better claim to being holy as well, because we also possess Jerusalem and Mecca and Medina and Rome. We possess most of the like major Abrahamic holy sites. So there's that. Granted, we're not an empire. I don't think. Oh, we are actually a government rank of empire. So arguably, we're holy, we're Roman, and we're an empire. Arguably. To be fair, our capital is not Rome. So there is that. But that is still quite amusing in my mind. So at this point, we're going to be wrapping up these cores very, very shortly, in under a month. So that's going to get rid of our overextension. That's a very big deal. So that's now done, and these Urbanese separatists are no longer going to be a thing. That's also a very big deal. They were very close to popping. That would have been annoying, for sure. So we're going to make this into a state up over here, and also we'll make this into a state. So those are now colonial cores. And we're very, very close to being able to make all of this into full cores. Next month's tech. Beautiful. Royal patronage, huh? That's a lot of money. I'm going to say no. Okay, so that looks good for now. Now we've got these guys up over here. We're going to make them a supply depot. We've got these guys here. Now supply limit is 67. We can move them into a slightly better location up here. And hopefully that'll be good enough. We need 73. Yeah, that did the trick. So that looks good. These guys are taking attrition out over here. Okay. Sure. So none of our armies are currently taking attrition. That is good. Delhi left the military coalition against us. I didn't even know Delhi was in the military coalition. What's their aggressive expansion opinion? 23. Ah, they're Muslim. They were very upset about us destroying their holy compound. Fair enough. Fair enough. Absolutely understandable. So yeah, we are very much chilling at this moment. We need to focus on getting the admin power to get our admin tech up to scratch. That's going to be a big deal for us economically. Now, we're the emperor at this moment, remember, which is wild. I don't know why they voted for us to be the emperor, but they did, briefly, and then regretted their votes. We could maybe add all of our provinces here to the HRE. We probably should, since we're the emperor. So there we go. That seems fine. Excellent. So we do need a lot more admin power, and we also are doing pretty okay on the money front at this moment. So with that in mind, how bad would it be if we brought our army maintenance up? It'd be pretty bad. So we need to do this piecemeal. What does that mean? That means that we can enable drilling here. How much of that is actually reinforcement? Some of it's going to be reinforcement. 53.82, so about a third. Noted. This army's fresh, actually. If any army should be drilling, it would be this one. So let that go for now, and we'll see. 68.2. Okay, that's not bad. Let's get all 4 of these armies drilling, and let's see where that puts us. Yeah, just barely positive. That's about where I want to be right now. We renewed a loan. I forgot that we had one. That's unfortunate, but it's not the end of the world. How much are we paying on that? 4.25? Okay. Not terribly concerned about that. We do want to bring our stability back up, but getting our admin tech up is definitely a higher priority. So we'll get that going as soon as we can. I think definitely taking an aristocratic idea here is a good idea. We may want to work on some of these trade ideas eventually, too. It would be very good to get that completed, for sure. 142.26. Whoa. Hang on. Why are we making so much money all of a sudden? Oh, we're no longer rooting out corruption. That's why. So now we can probably get the vast majority of our armies drilling, and at the very least... Okay, we don't have a leader here. We'll recruit a general. That's fine. That is a very mediocre general for us. We'll get some work going here. These guys actually need to build a supply depot. And then down over here, we can drill this army, and then we can drill these two. But I don't want to roll a leader for here. So I'm going to merge these together, and we're just going to take the attrition here. It's definitely not ideal, but we'll take it. There we go. So we'll get that done, and we're going to boost up our army maintenance to maximum. Now, that puts us very slightly negative at this moment, but that is probably fine, if I had to guess. So we are currently 14.95. Noted. I'm going to bump our fleet maintenance back up as well. So we're quite negative financially at this moment, but now we just went back positive, and I think that's due to our trade fleet over here, is my guess. We'll see if this maintains for this month. Yes. We're also still reinforcing these troops, and that's going to save us money once that completes. So we're taking attrition here, so we're always going to be paying for that, and we're taking attrition here, so we're always going to be paying for that. There's not a lot we can do about that if we want these in these regions. Otherwise, we could move them to locations where they are more able to sit, like here, and I'm actually going to do that, so that seems fine. We're going to move them up over there. They can be moved back eventually. So these guys, there's not really anywhere that we can do that for them, unfortunately. They're just going to have to take a little bit of attrition, I think. And that's fine. So we'll just get moved up over here and get them back to drilling. Now it's time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we'll see how this HRE France war plays out. France seems to be winning it pretty handily at this moment. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Dark Horse, Ethan Feldman, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge STL, Rornaz, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.